Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. Now we are joined with quite a few people, as it's actually the second attempt to get this stream working. Hopefully the audio is now fixed, we shall see. I'll get some feedback from the audience in a minute after getting some hellos from the G Plus panel. So joined by Bev Try-Thinking, Paul Hall, Quantum Eraser, Chocolate Saying, 10th Man and Arwin. Good to have you all. Hello, enthusiastic lot.
Are we going to continue housekeeping also?
No. I think because we've done the housekeeping already on the last show, I'll just get some introductions because this is now a live show that's working, hopefully. Can you let me know in the chat if the audio is now fixed or if it's all still terrible? Hello, everyone on the panel.
Yeah, we're good. We're good here.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking to Discord.
Yeah.
By introducing you by name, you thought I was talking to Discord. Okay, well, that makes perfect sense.
Oh, you said chat. You said in chat, and I'm not.
Yeah, I'm asking the chat to let us know if everything's okay with the audio, because I've just changed the setting.
I just went on mute to check the YouTube, and the sound is coming through loud and clear, at least from the G Plus panel menu.
Okay, we'll get to Discord shortly. Okay, so hello everyone in Discord. Can you all hear me? We can't see you in the live stream for some reason, but that's another.
Morning. Yeah, all good.
Okay then. Well, we have actually got halfway through housekeeping. I mean, I think we only have about 2 questions left. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Nope.
Black Swan.
Yeah.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Impossible.
No, we definitely have containment because we have gas pressure.
Yeah, just step outside.
That actually concludes the housekeeping. As strange as that may sound, if you're just tuned in for the first time live and you didn't see the technical issues on the last show for the first 12 minutes of the live broadcast. Anyway, so what was the deal with the dude while I was trying to sort out all those technical issues? Because obviously, worst case scenario, you've got to end the stream and start again, which is what we've done. But, you know, best case scenario, you can sort it out while there's an argument going on. But I didn't know what the argument was going on. Sorry, go on, Neil.
According to him, we're so behind. There's flat Earth revelations going on, and we're stuck here in house. That's what I.
Well, he came on saying that we're not progressing the conversation. Then Elijah said, "Okay, I'll progress it," and then he wouldn't let Elijah talk. So the very thing he wanted, he interrupted. And then Dave Rakia said, "I bet 100 to 1 any amount of money he'll interrupt." And no sooner did he say it, the guy interrupted.
I see.
I've heard that through the grapevine too about the housekeeping. Just to.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up. Exactly.
You're super quiet, Elijah.
I said that's exactly what happened. Yep, sums it up.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. It's just one of those people that wants to antagonise by asking you to explain something and then constantly interrupting you, or adjusting your example as you make it, or questioning your example and then going on to make their own example in the middle of yours, that sort of thing.
No, That didn't even happen. He didn't even allow me to start because he kept saying that we have been in the after show when you guys have left 6-7 hours and we have great arguments. And I was like, share one. I'll go on mute. 5 minutes later, he hasn't shared one. I come back. I say, okay, share one. He says, I'm just saying. I say, okay, shut up. I'll share one. And then he wouldn't shut up. But he did eventually just go quiet as soon as I started speaking, but it took about 15 minutes. Well, maybe I'm over exaggerating.
Yeah, they got great arguments, but they're just keeping it a secret. It's too good to share with us.
The Paul Hall, not Paul Hall. What was his name? It was another Paul. Paul Voigt. That's it. Yeah, we've got evidence of the self-perpetuating molten iron core. It's just too good to even show you. No way.
In the after show.
Sorry, Brian?
Yeah, he's still here. He's in the after show.
Well, leave him there. Leave him there. Elijah, if you're done, Bev wants to talk about something. If you're finished, Elijah.
Yeah, sure.
You're still there, Bev?
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, go on.
Yeah, well, Tony did a video the other day, and when we've been going through this geometry thing, and we've come to the definition 10 within Euclid's elements, which is the definition for perpendicular. Now, that definition states straight lines within it. Now, Tony did a video the other day that says some sort of Latin thing that sort of says that the if something is necessarily implied within the definition, then it excludes what isn't implied. And they still don't seem to like the idea that it that I guess what we're getting stuck up on is definitions, whereas these globe earth believers seem to think that they can just make their own definitions up. So it's in the in Master B is the definition 10 within book 1 of Euclid's Elements. Now, it states specifically straight lines are needed. I would say it goes a little bit further than that, that if you were to measure an angle, any angle, you need 2 straight lines. So the fact that Euclid's book sort of defines what a perpendicular is within that statement, uses straight lines, and then later on goes to prove that that's how you do it within geometry, how you construct a perpendicular. You need straight lines. It's so they don't like it that much that they're having to go to that definition and say, well, he didn't really mean that, like he sort of, like, I think that they're trying to use the when at the beginning or something. So just trying to get a bit of clarification that everybody sort of understands that the definitions of what things mean, and that a perpendicular requires 2 lines, 2 straight lines, because they're starting to make videos now where they say it's not.
Well, if they're going to do that, and which they are, they're going to look even more stupid.
Well, thank God we have the precious ballers here to tell us what the definitions of words are, because none of us can apparently look up definitions and speak English. It's ridiculous.
A straight line can be curved, can it not?
Oh, shit.
Who's that?
Highlander. Are you serious?
Highlander.
Right,
A straight line
Let me give you an example.
can be curved. Is that what you're saying?
Let me give you an example, right?
Please
Hang on,
do.
Highlander.
You
Highlander.
Jeez.
Highlander, before you go, Highlander, a line can be curved, but when it says straight line, it means a straight line. Now go on.
Right. So
A
you
red
take
card can
a
be blue.
flat floor, right? And you put an indent in the middle, and you put grid lines across it. Yeah. Now the line is going straight from left to right, but it dips down in the curve. Now, is that line going straight from one side to the other?
Excuse me, Highlander.
Has it got curvature to it?
But it still dips.
Did he put a bend in a straight line? Just ask us, is it still straight?
I think so.
A straight line.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
It can't be straight, can it?
Bev, how long in Euclid geometry in the Book of Elements? I mean, you have lines, you have segments, you have straight lines that go on either direction, never meeting, correct?
Yeah, well, what do you want a definition of? I can give you the definitions of.
Well, it's hard to understand what Highlander was actually saying. He broke up a few times. But is he saying a straight line eventually comes around and touches itself?
I don't know.
No.
Highlander?
No, that's not what I was saying.
Okay, then thank you for validating what Bev said. Euclid in the first Book of Elements talked about what a perpendicular is and what straight lines are. Thank you.
I guess I have to pull out Math is Fun. There's a difference between a straight line and a curved line.
What's the difference between Euclidean geometry and non-Euclidean geometry?
One has very specific definitions and proofs, and the other one isn't that geometry.
The other one, what?
Isn't. It's non that geometry. Euclidean geometry is very well defined with proofs and all sorts. Non-Euclidean geometry, by definition, is not that.
Can you give a little bit clearer description?
It's the word non. That unorthodox?
Well, yeah. So what type of geometry would you be looking at if you're looking at non-Euclidean geometry? Do you know?
No, not
just told
Euclidean.
You that. Hold on. Bev just broke that down for you. Anything that's not Euclidean.
Yeah, I'm asking for a specific example.
Oh, right. That's lovely. Thanks.
Right. Like circumdicular geometry. Your geometry.
Is this unorthodox?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, can you give me more than one definition for a straight line, please?
Not currently, no.
Okay, well then, what are you trying to say then?
I'm just curious if you guys know the difference between Euclidean and non-Euclidean.
It's just been defined to you 3 times. Are you satisfied that we do now? I hope so.
Well, no, I was asking for a specific example, right? That doesn't tell me he understands anything about Euclidean geometry or non-Euclidean.
It's been explained to you. This will be the 4th time that non simply means it's not that specific thing. So the thing that it's not specifically can be specific. So the Euclidean bit can be as specific as you like, but the non bit means generally anything outside of that. So what, you want an example of something outside a roast chicken? Roast chicken geometry is non-Euclidean. Happy?
Or pseudo-Ramonian geometry, for example.
Or any non-Euclidean. Not Euclidean.
Yeah,
would classify
I can give you the...
What about drawing on the surface of a
definition.
sphere? Would that be non-Euclidean?
What relevance does it have? Who cares?
I think you should go
I'm
with
just
the roast
curious.
chicken geometry.
Sorry, you're just curious if measuring a sphere is non-Euclidean.
Yes, like if we're looking at something on the surface of a sphere, in reference to that surface, is that Euclidean or non-Euclidean?
Why do you ask? Are you going to beg the question that Earth is said sphere? Why do you ask, just out of interest?
I don't know. I thought you guys were having trouble with geometry.
No, we're not having any trouble at all with anything so far. I'm asking why you would ask such a question. And I've also supposed that you're going to beg the question of a sphere Earth, based on your question. Am I wrong?
No, I just heard you guys arguing a little bit yesterday about perpendicular lines on a Euclidean surface.
Yep. Arguing? I don't think we were arguing about it.
And
debating, whatever you want.
And what's your point?
Well, if you're talking about globe Earth, that would be non-Euclidean.
No, that would be incorrect. So you're people who measure the ground, surveyors. Your surveyors, the globe surveyors, have a presupposition that they're standing on a sphere, much like you do. You declared it by asking us about spherical geometry, and whether or not it was non-Euclidean, despite the fact the clue would be in the title, and it was explained to you 4 times. Nevertheless, based on their presupposition, they will draw a tangent plane. Now, the tangent bit, we've debunked with this argument called the Black Swan, where we debunked the tangent line. It's now been bent by people like you. You tell us about how it can be refracted, i.e. bent. So no longer tangent then. So we've basically debunked that bit of their presupposition. But from there on in, they're using Euclidean also. Not non-Euclidean. They absolutely, your surveyors, your global presupposing, worrying about it being global, only to then survey it as flat with Euclidean principles. Were you aware of that?
No, but I'm glad you mentioned.
You weren't aware of that. No, but just no. So you're wrong. You've just asserted that if we're surveying it as a global surveyor, then we wouldn't be using Euclidean principles. You are incorrect.
Depends on, right, if it can the tangent be to a curve.
Sorry, no. Sorry, mate. You've just told us that we won't be using Euclidean principles. We will, you're wrong. Can I get an acknowledgement? Can I get a woo-ha, cowboy?
It depends on specifically what you're doing.
No, it doesn't depend on anything, you dipshit. I'm going to start getting pissed off if you don't accept this, because you don't know, and I'm telling you. Fact. Your global surveyors use Euclidean principles. Shut up. I'm telling you. Not asking, not debating, telling. Fact. Your global surveyors use Euclidean principles. That would be plumb lines moving vertically and levels being level. That is what they do. Contrary to what you asserted, you are wrong. They will be using Euclidean.
Do you have a reference?
Well, the geodetic surveyors themselves and their handbook, yes, definitely. Presented here several occasions by both Bev Try Thinking, who's currently on the panel, and Brian's Logic, from their own alma mater handbooks.
So what makes the distinction there?
Sorry,
between
can I get a woo-ha? Can I get a woo-ha? Don't ask me a question. You were incorrect. You said they won't be using Euclidean. Yeah, they will. You are wrong. I don't need a question. I need an acknowledgement of how wrong you are.
Talking about drawing on the surface.
What, like surveyors?
Sphere.
Like surveyors
That
do?
would be
Like, sorry, in a hypothetical service that you will beg the question of being Earth's surface and spherical. No, we're not doing that. You're saying that if we're measuring Earth, we won't be using Euclidean. You're wrong. And it's now taken about 4 minutes of me pointing it out over and over again, and you just going on to another different subject or segue or question. Now, I want you to acknowledge how wrong you are. Your global surveyors will have flat Earth principles, plumb lines moving vertically, levels being level. All of those principles will be in effect for your global surveyors when they map out a flat bit of land after presupposing and worrying about their religious belief. But all of their measurements will be on a flat plane and using Euclidean geometry, not global geometry. You're wrong. Now, I've said that, 5 times? Don't need a question, I just need you to acknowledge how wrong you are, unorthodox, because you are wrong, and I'm telling you how wrong you are.
I never claim that any specific...
Yo, fuckwit! You told us that if we're measuring Earth, we won't be using Euclidean. Yes, we will, you're wrong. That's what you claimed, I'm telling you how wrong you are. Don't tell me you didn't claim it, you did. I'm correcting you.
You misunderstood me or I misspoke.
No, I didn't misunderstand the part where you said we won't be using Euclidean geometry if we're measuring Earth. You're wrong. I didn't misunderstand.
Nathan.
Sorry, if you're going to accuse me of having poor hearing, then you're going to get told off. I understood implicitly when you said if measuring Earth we will not be using Euclidean geometry. That is what you said. I didn't misunderstand. I haven't got poor hearing. I heard your incorrect assertion, and I've corrected it. You just yet to acknowledge how wrong you are about your global surveyors using flat Earth principles when they map out a presupposed tangent point with a zenith that runs from the centre to a flat plane that uses Euclidean principles. 6 times I've told you that. You haven't acknowledged it once.
You hear me? I just told you either you misheard me or I misspoke on the two, and you didn't seem to understand me.
Oh, you definitely misspoke when you said that non-Euclidean will be applied to Earth. Wrong! You misspoke.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not okay. Don't come on my show and talk shit! You unbelievable retard! Okay? No, that's where you get an unbelievable tongue lashing. Don't come here and tell an audience of hundreds of people that non-Euclidean will be used. You stupid boy. What the hell are you doing opening your mic talking to my audience? With your nonsense and stupid assertions that take 10 minutes to be corrected, with you arguing and talking through and asking me about whether or not I've understood your stupidity. You stupid idiot. It's not okay. Don't talk crap.
Nathan, people make mistakes.
Shut up! You don't make mistakes here and go on about them for 10 minutes with me correcting you. You just acknowledge your mistake quickly. We've gone on about this for 10 minutes without acknowledgement. Now you go, oh right, I'm just wrong, okay. What, 10 minutes after I've got exasperated telling you how bloody wrong you are with your global assertion that's actually a flat earth proof? These surveyors, these global surveyors with their worry about globes before they do any bloody measurements, their worry is translated directly into flat earth measurements. And you've asserted otherwise. Not okay! An outrage!
Okay, you have to forgive me, Nathan.
No, I don't forgive you. You're a globe-believing zealot liar. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. I don't forgive you. I despise you.
Okay. Well...
No, it's not okay. You are a disgusting liar. You come here to lie to hundreds of people, and after I correct you 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, okay. No, not okay. A world lie that you're perpetuating, moron, with your stupidity and your ignorance. It's not okay.
Well, usually the way to convince people isn't retards, but to have like a normal discussion with them.
No, people come here like you and demonstrate that they're retards by demonstrating their ignorance. They say things like non-Euclidean geometry will be used to measure Earth. That's factually incorrect. And then after 10 minutes of me correcting you with little bits of obfuscation and you asking me questions, eventually when you understand how stupid, incorrect and misleading your statement was, you just say, okay, like it doesn't matter. No, the entire world is under this misapprehension that you're punting, but I'm correcting.
That's not what I wanted to discuss anyways, Nathan.
Oh, is that not what you wanted to discuss? Shout out to Awakened Jaguar. Bless up. Check out Awakened Jaguar. Well, nice self-promotion, but thank you very much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. It's not what we don't care what you wanted to talk about. You've already demonstrated you're a stupid retard. So why would we care what you now want to talk about, given that so far in this show you've already demonstrated how wrong you are about your assertions of non-Euclidean geometry, which are not applied.
Nathan.
And now you're interrupting me.
Misspoke.
Like we need to hear from you. No, we don't.
I misspoke?
Yes, you did misspoke, not if. This is the kind of thing that pisses me off. Not if. Emphatically, yes, you definitely misspoke. You were wrong. I corrected you. It's now 12 minutes later.
Yes, I'm trying to move on, Nathan.
Oh, really? I don't want to move on. You see, your surveyors are proving it's flat. We've got this assertion that plumb lines move to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. They don't. Your surveyors won't hold that axiom when they're measuring Earth, as you asserted. When you said non-Euclidean? No. They'll be holding true to Euclidean principles, mate. That's pretty fundamental to the lie of the globe. No, now it's time to interrupt me, is it? You wanted a different subject. I don't. Your surveyors are proving it's flat. They're proving it's flat, other than their assumption of a tangent that we've debunked.
I'll give you that, okay? I'll give you that. That's what they use. And then,
oh, that's ever so kind of you. Welcome to Flat Earth. You've got nothing to prove it's a globe, then.
No, what I want to talk about isn't in relationship to it being a globe.
Well, it's
not about the black swan and the logic used in it. When I'm racing around, I'd love for. So I came up with like a note, black swan, and you have to.
Hold on, am I getting choppy audio from G+? Can somebody say something in there? I heard chocolate. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, I'm in here.
No, it sounds fine.
I think I've got a bit of an echo.
Yeah, somebody's got an echo.
Go ahead, 50. What's your question about the logic of the black swan?
Well, I kind of like wrote it out, so I don't know where you want me to send it. But it's like a presentation. It's basically just like one piece of paper.
Just read it. I'll just read out this super chat, and then you can just read it. So, Wiki says Euclidean geometry comes from Euclid and its assumptions. Euclid's method consists in assuming a small set of universally appealing axioms and debunking many other presuppositions, theorems from these. Sorry if I butchered that. I've got terrible glare off my screen. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, James. Really appreciate your support.
So you want to present this? You just want me to say it?
Go ahead. If you've just got a piece that you've pre-prepared, that's fine. It's not like you're citing your own piece. Just read it out.
Okay, let me pull it up. I was hoping you'd show it to your audience, but I can just read it. That's fine.
Is it a diagram or something? Yeah, sure.
So, well, it's basically I'm taking the logic of the black swan and applying it to something.
Did you post it in Discord? I can go in Discord and get it. And
so you took the logic from the black swan.
But let's not jump with the gun. Let's see what he's got to offer first. If someone can bring up chocolate, that'd be great.
The chocolate's gonna get it. There it is.
Post it in Discord already?
Of course, we're asking for a 50 presentation, so it's long, protracted silences and pissing around. What a shock. Just get on with it. Read out whatever you've got to read out. This is a live show. What's your problem? When I'm talking, you can constantly be talking. Yet when it's time for you to present long silences, lots of pissing around, just read it out. Tell us what you've got.
Wow.
Okay, well, chocolate should be getting it, and he should be presenting it soon.
No, come on, read it.
So what I did...
I want to hear you read it.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm going to read it. I was just hoping he'd have it on screen while I'm reading.
Get on with it.
So this is what I did here. I am. So what I did here was I looked at the logic used in the black swan, and I basically made my own argument, okay? And argument here. So this is called the dome killer, right? It's the death of the flat-tard, never witnessed, non-antecedent dome again, okay? If the Earth is flat with a dome to contain the atmosphere, then every pressure measurement must conform to Guy Lussac's law, which states that the temperature increases, pressure must also. Modus tollens, holy smokes, Batman, it's going to hurt. If P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is flat with a dome to contain the atmosphere, P, then every pressure measurement must conform to Guy Lussac's law, which states if temperature increases, pressure must also increase. Q.
It does.
You're a
moron.
It does. 5/2020 at 7:53 p.m. The temperature was measured to be 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and the pressure was measured to be 992. On 6/8/2020 at 5:53 a.m., the temperature was measured to be 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and the pressure was measured to be 101.7 or 1,017.7.
What's the gas pressing on?
So there you go.
Sorry, without
there you go.
you
There's no doubt.
You said you opened with just like a hand wave to the whole antecedent consequent thing. Did you think that just hand waving that it's an antecedent would work with a follow-up formal logical fallacy?
Right. I posted it in Ballbusters if you guys want it.
I don't really need it, Mr. Black Swan fallacy. Where'd you get the pressure from?
Yeah, that was my first question.
From molecules colliding with each other.
That doesn't create gas pressure.
Really? Go ahead, Nathan.
It doesn't create gas pressure. They've got to collide with something, i.e. the walls of a container, a surface area. How do you measure pressure?
Who says they have to collide?
What's the measurement for pressure?
The definition!
What's the definition of pressure? Gas pressure, what is it?
Who says?
The change of momentum on a hypothetical surface area.
Surface area? Surface area. Something to press on.
Right, a foot.
Something to press on.
In front of your face.
Sorry, something to press on.
But there's still.
Hello, why am I being interrupted? So surface area, something to press on then.
A foot in front of your face. There's no walls, but there's still air pressure, Nick.
And so what? It's a necessary it's a necessary antecedent consequent deal. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
I have no clue what would make you say that. The only thing needed.
I didn't say it. Conspiracy Cat said it. I did not say that. That's a quote from Conspiracy Cats. Quote: "Without the container, there can be no pressure." I didn't say that. Conspiracy Cats did. Maybe take it up with him. It was a quote.
Why did he say that?
Excuse me. Hold on, Chocolate.
Why would he say something like that?
Yeah, why would he say something like that? A globehead teacher.
He misspoke.
He didn't misspoke. He also said it in 2018. Without the balloon, there is no pressure. He just said it in a slightly different way with a demonstration on a blackboard, with a balloon being the necessary antecedent to have gas pressure. Because, quote, "without the container, there can be no pressure." Because there wouldn't be a surface area, as per the definition of gas pressure, and what it needs to be in existence. That would be a surface area to press upon. A container. So your hand wave of the antecedent consequent relationship that acquires you gas pressure in the first instance didn't work, followed up by a formal logical fallacy. No. It's still an antecedent consequent relationship. Without the container, there can be no pressure. Take it up with Conspiracy Cats if you think he misspoke, because without the balloon, there is no pressure. End quote, Conspiracy Cats 2018. He definitely didn't misspoke. He teaches this to children.
Okay, well, then he's mistaken or wrong.
No, he's a teacher. He's being paid to do this by the government. Big Daddy, the one you worship. They pay him to teach kids this. He definitely didn't misspeak. He's a teacher.
Then he referenced an out-of-date reference.
Out of date? It's an antecedent consequent relationship. They don't go out of date. It's not a bloody piece of cheese.
There's gas pressure, but there's no walls, Nathan.
Sorry, what's the definition of gas pressure again? Force over a given area. Right. Something to press upon then. That'd be the container, mate. So without the container, there can be no pressure. Asking me about this isn't going to change that.
No, it's the change of momentum on the hypothetical surface area.
Sorry.
It's kind of shitty to have a hostile witness.
Gas on the walls of its container. Chemliber text. Pressure is caused by gas molecules hitting the walls of the container. Kinetic molecular theory. Rapid motion and collision of molecules with the walls of the container causes pressure. You cheesehead. You're a numpty.
Right? That's not,
Did he say hypothetical container like a scuba tank?
Hypothetical container, like the Carmen line. Hypothetically, not really anything to press upon. But no, you do actually need an actual container for the gas to actually press upon. Hypothetically, on the not really is level, like your globe belief with its gas pressure not expanding into a vacuum. Yeah, that's on the not really is level though. In the really is level, gas needs something to press upon, otherwise the gas fills the space that it has available to it.
But if you look outside, right, there's air pressure, but there's no.
Yeah, so therefore there must be containment. Without it, there'd be no pressure. So when we look outside and experience gas pressure, we know with all certitude that there must be containment.
No, you don't, because all you need for pressure is molecules moving.
No, you need them to exert a force on an area, as per the definition you gave us.
No,
unorthodox. What kind of unorthodox? Do you drive a car without a tire?
No, let me give you an example, okay?
No, unorthodox.
3 feet in front of you.
Unorthodox. You drive car
surface area. There will be 14.7 pounds per inch.
Rumpus me on this one.
It's just going to
unorthodox. Unorthodox.
But anyways.
Hello. Unorthodox.
Hello.
I will listen to your nonsense if you show me your car without the necessary antecedent of rubber tires for your air to hang in there. Will you do that, please?
You guys are saying that there's no reason for anyone to suspect that that's a necessary.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Your molecules are going to form a form of a tire, is what you're saying.
We do that in toroidal fields in fusion.
He's not listening to you. I'll try again for you, 10th man. You've made your point twice. So if you're a tiny little bug inside a tyre, it's not moving, but it's at a higher pressure than atmospheric pressure because you pumped up the tyre. And the little bug puts its little bug hand in front of its face, and what do you know? It's 30 psi. Yeah? But without the tyre, the bug wouldn't experience that. Now, while I don't know what our metaphorical tyre is because I have no expert on the sky, I know that there must be containment. Because in the same scenario that you've given us with a bug just shrunk down to be inside of a tyre, without that tyre, there wouldn't be a higher pressure than the atmospheric pressure. And without the container, there'd be no atmospheric pressure. Because the gas would just expand in all directions at high velocity and fill whatever volume it has available to it, which would be all of outer space, therefore debunking outer space, making outer space fake. You can't have gas pressure without a container.
That's just a blatant assertion without any factual basis whatsoever.
And your example, Nathan,
no worries. Can you show me? Hold on. Can you show me gas pressure without a container beyond your fundamentalist religious belief that the sky is a vacuum? Can you demonstrate that you can have gas pressure without a container? Because I can back my necessary antecedent consequent relationship by showing every single example ever of gas pressure having containment.
Absolutely, and not even that, I can do a better one. I can provide you with a demonstration you can do yourself that will show you.
No, you're not going to reverse the burden of proof. I'm asking you to demonstrate gas pressure without a container. You show me.
Just a second. Let me find the mic.
Turn out the lights. Party's over. But
yeah, I'm not going to have you blow down your mic. Your old jokes are crap. Hold on.
Something a second grader knows is apodictic and dubitable. We have to argue as adults because you're a retard that got a religious belief that just got pummeled. It's crumbling all around you. It's over. Okay?
Well, let me give you an example, right? So I'm fanning the microphone right now. I don't know if you can hear it. But
oh my God. You've done this before. You blew down your microphone. You didn't acknowledge my example of the little bug, did you? Now, if the bug flies around in that higher pressure zone, he might cause differentials also. But without the tyre around him, he's not going to be able to create any of those differentials in that higher pressure system that's inside the tyre. So you blowing on something doesn't in any way change the necessary antecedent consequent relationship that is gas pressure and its containment.
Is he blowing?
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely. That makes no sense, right? So if If we have molecules moving, that's all that's required. I have no clue.
No, what you're saying, that you can say that having gas means you can beg the question of a sky vacuum. No, it's having gas isn't proof of a sky vacuum, you complete moron. No, that's not enough. In fact, it's just a fundamentalist religious zealot's assertion that he's got a belief that the sky's a vacuum in violation of natural law. Not only is it not enough, it's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, mate. Enough to say, no, I've got gas, therefore the sky's vacuum. No, it's not enough, mate. It violates natural law.
I think you're just being silly, right?
No, it's called the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy would increase. It's a natural law, a law of nature, applicable always. Not just a silly belief. Your silly belief that you think is affirmed by seeing gas pressure and being able to measure it, and that somehow affirms the idea that we've got a vacuum of the sky with the gas just hanging around at the Kármán line going, you know what, I'm not going to expand anymore. And that's just ludicrous. Not affirmed by the fact we've got gas. The gas affirms the fact that it must be contained, because every single example you'll ever have of gas at pressure will be contained. Now, unless you can show me otherwise, that necessary antecedent-consequent relationship will always hold true.
That's a baseless assertion, Nathan.
No, I can demonstrate gas at pressure in a container. I've asked you to demonstrate otherwise by showing me gas pressure without a container.
And I did.
No, you didn't. You blew on your mic. You created a gas pressure differential. Where did you get the gas pressure in the first place?
Moving the molecules.
Where did you get the molecules at pressure to move in the first place?
From the air around me.
Sorry, and does that air have a sky vacuum above it?
It has a gradient.
And does it have a sky vacuum called outer space, as asserted by the heliocentric religion? The most powerful vacuum known to man. Outer space, a sky vacuum. Why can't you just say yes? Is it because it's fundamentally ludicrous? And that would mean that the sky is an available volume for the gas that you've got here to be able to blow on your mic, because you've already got gas at pressure. It wouldn't be here if the sky was a vacuum. Therefore, the fundy religious zealot, globe-believing dick, can't even say yes when I ask him if he's got that pressure with a sky vacuum above it. He says it's got a pressure gradient. Yeah, we've both got a pressure gradient, that's self-evident. I asked if you got a fucking sky vacuum!
You're just religiously asserting there's a dome and...
Sorry, I didn't say a damn thing about a dome. What I did say, and he can't admit, is that his fundy globe belief leads him to think that the sky is a vacuum, a massive space for all the gas we're breathing to fill. But he can't admit it, even though it's a fundamental premise of his rhetoric. He's got to talk about a straw man dome. Pathetic.
I have evidence for the sky vacuum. It's a great...
No, you don't. It's a violation of natural law. You definitely don't have evidence. I've asked you twice to show me gas pressure without a container, and you've created a gas pressure differential and failed to account for where you got the gas pressure from in the first place. That's where we're at.
Well, then how do you explain this?
Oh, it's a question for me then. Burden of proof reversal fallacy time. How do you explain it? Well, we've definitely got containment. That's how I explain it. There must be containment.
We know, according to Guy Lussac's law and the logic used...
It's time to reassert your logical fallacy that we pummeled earlier. No, we were talking about the hand wave of the antecedent-consequent relationship that falls into the definition of gas pressure that you gave us. The hand wave to the antecedent, not the logical fallacy you gave? Yeah, that bit was pretty much ignored by all of us because it was a joke. But your hand wave to antecedents of containment, which is in the definition of gas pressure, that would be the surface area you talked about. That's the bit we're focused on, mate. You pathetic weasel.
Well, you have to connect the two, right? I'm using your logic to show that it's impossible that there's a dome. It's your logic.
It's our
logic. No, you didn't.
No, we're getting to the bit where you hand waved the antecedent. You said with a hand wave that this demolishes the antecedent of a container. And we've now gone through the fact that it doesn't. So regardless of what logic you formed, the antecedent of containment is still absolutely part of the definition of gas pressure. You described it as the area that it's going to press upon, and then equivocated with the gas banging against each other. No, mate. Ludicrous. The gas would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum.
But air on Earth.
But the gas would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum. And that's your fundy belief, and you're saying there can't be a dome, therefore must be my alternative of sky vacuum? No, mate. We've pummeled that. Antecedent for the gas that we're breathing must be contained. That's what I'm responding with. Let's not have the same logical fallacy for the fifth time.
You don't see the problem here, Nathan, right? I'm using...
No, I see that there's not a sky vacuum, that we must be contained. I haven't asserted dome. I've said that to have gas pressure, there must be containment. That's what I've asserted.
You don't see a problem here, right?
No, I don't. Second time. No, I don't see any problem. I absolutely see a problem in there being a sky vacuum. There must be containment. I didn't use the word dome. I don't know what the sky is. But you fundies think it's a vacuum. That would be a space for the gas to fill. And fill it must. It's called entropy, natural law, second law of thermodynamics. To assert we don't have some form of containment is a violation of that natural law. So that's your problem. I don't have a problem. I know we've got containment, we've got gas. Just go outside. You'll experience gas pressure. Therefore, there must be containment. Quote, Conspiracy Cats, 2019. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
Lose-X law.
So does it have anything to do with gas requiring something to press upon as per the definition of gas pressure and you having a fundamentalist religious belief that you've got this high pressure and then next to it 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum with the gas not filling it in violation of natural law? You think that, no, when we assert that this is all bollocks, you can't possibly have this, it violates natural law, the gas would fill the space. You say, no, I can violate the necessary antecedent of containment with a hand wave and then deliver a formal logical fallacy, which I'll harper on about for about 20 minutes. That's what you think. No, you still need containment.
What was my fallacy? I mean, it should show you that there's kind of an...
Yeah. James Richard, another shout out to you, my friend. Nathan, you and QE should address what the assumptions are all about in Euclidean geometry definition on one of your shows. We have. Well, I haven't. Bev definitely has, though. Would you be willing to do that? Why would there be assumptions in math? Why would there be axioms in math, Bev?
But they're the rules that you go with, right?
Yeah, you've got to have a fundamental premise.
Yeah, they're not difficult. They're pretty basic.
Yeah, there's always going to be certain laws and rules that apply to anything like that. You know, you've got to have, for instance, you can't have the law of, non-contradiction. You can't have something be one thing and not be another thing. You can't have the number one be the number two as well, for instance. Yeah. Well, those are rules. They've got to be applied in maths.
Yeah, they try and define. At the beginning, he tries to say there's a logic bit at the beginning that says you can't really define a straight line because it's an element. It's something that describes other things. So how do you define it other than to say what it isn't? So I mean, the rules of Euclidean geometry are very basic, and it's basically follows a logical process. I mean, all of the things it says within the definitions are proved within the book later on. So, I mean, all of this discussion about whether perpendicular lines can be straight or not. I mean, you go through the book and go through the procedure to prove that you need straight lines. You have to have a compass and a straight edge, and you need a straight line to be able to construct a perpendicular to that straight line. You have to. So I mean, there's a proof in there. So yeah, like, well, hold on, I don't know how you were meant to do anything about that. You know, it's stood the test of time for thousands of years. Who asked that question?
Bev, you remember the drawing I sent you? You remember the drawing I sent you a while back?
I don't know. People have sent me all sorts of different drawings. Was it like a cartoony one?
Okay. Yeah, it was basically a man walking on Earth, dropping plumb lines and making perpendiculars, right? And I was telling you that you're confusing the datum with the shape of the ground, right? They're not the same.
So yeah,
But
the
anyway.
datum says it's a sphere. The shape of the ground says it's flat. That's why when your surveyors survey it, they survey it with Euclidean principles. It's what we discussed at the beginning of the show. Took 10 minutes. Do you remember? You were all okay with it? You understood that they were using Euclidean principles and surveying the land as flat. The land says it's flat. The datum says it's a sphere.
Well,
Don't you think that's a bit of an issue? Kind of like...
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue for you because the datum's not the land we're standing on. But when they survey that land, they survey it as flat with flat principles and tangents not applied other than their presupposition. Their tangent's been debunked, however. So their tangent plane, the two things they describe, the first is not relevant to the second. So they just assume that they're on a sphere when they plot out where they are. They draw a straight line from the top of their head. They call that their zenith. And from there on in, they plot out a flat plane to actually measure with Euclidean principles. Flat. Levels being level. So none of these principles, these Euclidean principles that they actually use as tools to measure the land, ever show it as being anything other than flat. That is a very big problem for you if you believe it's a globe, because it isn't.
What's the datum?
And, I mean, when you're talking about non-Euclidean versus Euclidean, non-Euclidean...
Sorry, they're not using non-Euclidean. They're using Euclidean. So we're not talking about non-Euclidean versus Euclidean. Your geodetic surveys are using Euclidean. I took 10 minutes and you said you're okay with it. Now you seem to have had amnesia.
No.
No, yes, they are definitely using flat earth principles to measure the flat land. Now, if it was a globe, none of those principles and axioms would ever hold true ever, and it would be a very real problem because they couldn't actually do anything. But in reality, they have to transpose it as flat when they're measuring it, because it is flat. Their presupposition of their zenith point on a presupposed sphere Earth means nothing, because these vertical tools always sit vertical. They don't point to the centre of a sphere, ever. And that's not how your geodetic surveys use them, ever.
When you measure them.
Yeah, with flat earth principles. They're measuring Earth with flat earth principles on a presupposed tangent, which we've debunked, plane. That would be to say that actually measuring it flat, that's what they're actually doing, with Euclidean principles holding true.
Euclidean geometry is a flat Earth principle?
Yeah, Euclidean principle would be that two perpendicular lines will always run parallel to each other. They're not ever going to point to the presupposed centre of a presupposed sphere Earth, ever. And your measurements from your globe-believing zealot side of this argument also use those flat principles. You were okay with this at the beginning of the show. Now you're not so okay with what, because it debunks the idea that you're on a sphere? Yeah, it does.
Like any shape with Euclidean geometry. Non-Euclidean only comes down when you talk about drawing on the surface.
Yeah, it only comes down to when we're actually measuring reality. Yeah, it only comes down to the fact that when we measure reality, it's flat as a pancake. That's right. I mean, you can beg the question all day long and apply datums to it before you actually measure anything. But when you actually do anything with the ground, it's flat.
When have you measured?
Not me. You're presupposing global geodetic surveyors. They go through this process of begging the question that they're on a sphere. Then they apply Euclidean flat Earth measurements to the flat plane they're measuring. How many times? Is it because it's painful that you don't like that your global presupposing surveyors are still using flat Earth principles to do their actual measurements? You don't like that, right? I wouldn't either. Because you'd hope your reality in a globe matched up with the actual bloody measurements. It just doesn't.
Can I remind unorthodox you've been around. Let me remind you, Andrew Thomas Young did the same thing. He said all of his refraction calculations were based on a plane.
He also says that looming refraction causes Earth's concavity to be diminished. And you just
hey, running mouth. Listen, how in the world could he ever say that if he lives on the globe? That would mean that Andrew Thomas Young switched the globe reality to a plane to study refraction, and then had to take geometric considerations to apply it to a globe. But if he took the actual calculations on the globe, he would never say, all my calculations are based on calculations on a plane.
And with that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!